Yo, it's me, it's the SCOTD, and I told myself I wasn't going to do any more horror movie reviews until October, but this came along. So yesterday, in my process of rearranging things, I rehooked up my cable box from the bedroom, because now that I'm rearranging, I can switch out cords, and I have one long enough to reach to where it goes in the wall. So now I have a cable box. So last night I went to lay down for bed, and I'm like, let me see what's on cable, because usually I watch it on the Roku or a DVD or something. But now I have cable, so I can just put on TV, And I was scrolling, and I found on Flicks that they were playing the movie Sorority Row. So I'm like, I remember liking that movie. Why not? So I put it on. Now keep in mind, the first time I watched this, it was on. Now this was on Flicks, so it's the unedited version. It's the full version, titties and swearing and stuff like that. And there's some nice titties in this, but including one derogative scene where there's just like, you have to walk out there with your towel off. So she does, and she's like, that's an excuse to get titties. I'm just like, but I don't want to complain. But anyway, so this is the first time since I started doing reviews. So I haven't watched this in over a year at least. Maybe more. I watched it when it was on regular cable TV without all the stuff in. And then I bought this DVD at a pawn shop for $1. And I watched that version, which I was very impressed with the titties. And I always thought that it was an okay movie. But last night, oh my God, I didn't even get 5 minutes into this movie. It wasn't even the beginning. It was maybe a half hour, 45 minutes in. Maybe a half hour in. And I'm sitting there watching it. And I'm just like, not even 5 minutes I'm sitting there watching it for. And I'm just like, man, this movie sucks. The characters are terrible. The bitchiest female characters you would ever... It's like everyone was on their menstrual cycle at once. That's what they told them to act like, because that's what it seemed like. Apart from the main character, Cassidy. She's alright, but the rest, and maybe Jimmy Chung's character, but the rest of them, and maybe Rumor Willis, but the rest of them were just kind of like, especially the character played by Leah Pipes. She's the worst character in the movie. So, I'm going to do a review for Sorority Row. I was like, I said I'm going to do more horror movies, and I'm sitting there like, I need something to watch. I haven't done a review today, I need a review, and I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it, let's do it. So, Sorority Row. The story is very simple. Sort of. It should be. The sorority sisters, they play a prank on this guy named Garrett, played by Matt O'Leary. He's with his girlfriend, and he tries to roofie her, but it's actually vitamins. And as in retaliation for, because it was all set up, trying to roofie her, they pretend that she died because of this. And so they bring her out to this, and I don't know how long they were expecting to push this, but like they bring her out to this well, and they're gonna throw her in there, but they tell Garrett that they have to clear the air out of her lungs, which I don't think you have to do if you have a dead body. I'm no expert. I never had no dead body, but I'm just saying I don't think that's how it works. It wouldn't just opening the mouth do that. But Garrett stabs her with a tire iron that for some reason has a blade on it, which I don't think tire irons do that, but have that. But anyway, and so she ends up dead, and it was all the pranks. She wasn't really dead, but ends up dead. And this is where the character of, I forget her name, Leah Pipes' character, the worst character in the movie, her bitchiness shines through. They're like, we gotta go to the cops. And she's like, we're not going to the cops. We're all gonna end up going to jail if we go to the cops. No, you won't. You won't. You call the cops, you explain what happened, that you were pulling a prank on this guy, and he, of his own volition, without any push from anyone else, all you said was, we need to clear the air out of her lungs. And then he stabbed her. You never told him he had to stab her to do that. So you have no, you did not tell him to do anything. you are not directly involved with this, you probably wouldn't get in that much trouble. Yes, you were involved, but no serious jail time. Garrett, on the other hand, is looking at a lot of jail time for this. But Leah Pipes is like, no, we're not calling the cops because I'm not going to jail. No one's going to jail. And if we do that, we're all going to go to jail. And then they're like, well, we'll just say that Garrett did it. And we were here or something like that. And like, then I think her name is Chugs. She's played by the Margot Hartman from Even Stevens. And she's like, my brother's not going to go to jail. I'm like, what? I don't know. But then it flashes 8 months later, right? 8 months later, and now they start getting messages from some mysterious person claiming that they're gonna kill them or whatever, and it all leads to this. It's very much the sort of, when did this come out? 2005, 2006, 2009. It's very much in that kind of 2000s horror slasher where they were just sort of, this is a remake of The House on Sorority Row, although it's only remake in name, I think. But you have Carrie Fisher in this, and she has a minor role. She's probably one of the badass parts, but then she dies anyway. And the twist. They try to make this a twist. It's so out of fucking nowhere that it makes no fucking sense to me. Now, I'm going to clear something else up. Jason from Sinister Cinema Reviews, I was watching his review for it today, and he seems to claim that Kyle, played by Matt Lanter, who was Leah Pipe's boyfriend in the movie, was in on it or was another killer. He had nothing to do with it. He was sleeping with Maggie, which is Megan's sister, the girl that died. It's her sister. And that's all he was guilty of, was cheating on Leah Pipes. And then he started to act weird, but that's a red herring. And then when Andy shows up, that's Cassidy's boyfriend, he kills Kyle to make it look like self-defense. And to make them think he was the killer, but then Cassidy's just like, oh, you're the killer. And we're supposed to believe he's like, wait, what? What? How does this guy make any sense to be the killer? It makes no sense. Kyle makes more sense to be the killer, having found out about what happened because Leah Pipes told him. And so then he's killing everybody to make sure that it doesn't get out so it doesn't ruin his reputation. That would make more sense. Or how about Garrett? After killing her, after accidentally killing her, 8 months later, he gets a message from one of them. Ellie is the one that kind of pushed Andy into doing this when she confided in him and she wants to tell the cops. Maybe she tells Garrett, and maybe he decides, I'm not going to go to jail, so he starts killing everyone who knows about it. That would make more sense. But no, we have a scene in which Leah Pipes' character proves she's a bitch. Garrett shows up. He drunk off his ass. He slit his wrist. He's clearly not the killer, yet they're freaked out, and she runs his ass over. Bitch. Without even finding out what's going on or asking why he's acting strange, she just runs his ass over, and they think, okay, killer's dead, but it's not him. Another thing that doesn't make any sense is that if it's Andy who's the killer, then why does it say Theta Pi must die down there? It makes no sense. If Andy is the killer, it makes no sense that he would write that. And you can't say, this is what Jason had a point. It makes no sense that that's there. And she was already dead. Megan was already dead when she was thrown down there. So it wouldn't make sense for her to write that on there. So why would Andy write that on there? It doesn't make any sense. And, okay, so the best kill in the movie is when Chugs gets killed. She has a bottle shoved down her throat and then stabbed and the blood comes up through the bottle. That's pretty cool. But she's going to her doctor who says, you fuck me and I'll give you your medication so she can get high because he knows she's using or whatever. But it's just like, I don't get characters like her. Like, she's just intoxicated. And you can say, oh, but she's, everything that happened. But she was constantly drinking alcohol before. That's why they called her Chugs. And like I said, some of the characters in this are just terrible. I think Cassidy is one of the better characters in the film. And Garrett, you can feel his emotion because he didn't know anything about what's going on. He accidentally killed someone. He's a victim in all this. But if this gets out, he's going to go to jail. So it would make sense that he would be the killer. But they throw Andy at us. And why did he do this? Because Ellie confided in him and said she wants to go to the cops. So he decided to kill everyone so that it doesn't get out. Garrett's motivation, which would make more sense. But that's not why. He doesn't want to get out so he doesn't go to jail. No, because he didn't do it. He's killing people so that it doesn't ruin the perfect life he had planned for him and Cassidy. So what if you're killing all those people for her, right? And she does not know you are the killer because it makes no sense. And she just breaks up with you due to frustrations and what's going on in her life. And she just can't handle it. She just breaks up with you. Now, you've killed these people for no fucking reason. On top of the no fucking reason that you already have. Other than to have a perfect life with this woman that may or may not want to have a life with you at some point. Because, newsflash, not all women go into a relationship for the long haul. They just want to have someone there. Maybe you're not the one. But you got it all in your head that you're going to have this fantastic life. And maybe she doesn't feel the same way. But you're killing people for this perfect life that she might not even want. It makes no sense. And then the little hook we have at the end. It comes 15 months later. Maggie is now a part of or in charge of the Thetas. And we see these gardeners running up. And one of them has scars on his wrists with a little gardening tool blade, which implies that it's Garrett. And implies that he will be a killer in a sequel that's never happened. Why the fuck wasn't he the killer in this film? It would have made much more fucking sense to have him be the killer. And I've already said this. Have him be the killer, and the reason why is because Ellie's going to go to the cops, and he's killing every single one of them to shut them up so he doesn't go to jail. It makes more sense than to have Andy, out of fucking nowhere, be the killer. This movie gets a 3 for me. I cannot... The only thing that saves it is that Carrie Fisher, the badass that she is in this film, and even though she has not that much of a good performance, I must honor her and give some points to this film. Also, Matt Lanter's not that bad of an actor, and he really is menacing in the scenes where he's supposed to be a red herring, make you think he's the killer. And Brianna Evigan, I think her name is, she's alright. And I kind of like Margot Hartman a little bit. And the girls aren't bad to look at. And titties. So, there's your points. But it's a 3 because this movie is terrible. So what are your thoughts on Sorority Row? Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Scotty. See you in the next one.